How to efficiently manage outreach. Managing an investment bank process. This is lesson 2 of class 3. In this lesson, we'll review 3 main tools that junior bankers should utilize to ensure optimal deal management and outreach efficiency. Such tools include contact logs, folder space, and note-taking. Background. Warren Fox Group recognizes the massive responsibility junior bankers take on to successfully organize outreach efforts and efficiently manage investment banking processes. It is also important to note that junior bankers will likely be managing multiple deals at one time. Therefore, you have to remember that to accurately understand a junior banker's job responsibilities, you have to multiply the efforts described in the previous lesson by the number of deals the banker is staffed on. There's an industry term called deal merge, and this is when sector-specific banks go out to the same investors for different deals. It causes something known as deal merge, which is used to describe the general confusion between deals, deal parameters, and investors. For the above reasons, this makes organization and coordination extremely important in managing deals and their associated outreach efforts. Contact logs. A contact log is an internal tool that acts as a centralized database for all outreach efforts. The contact log is a living document, and to maximize the tool's utility, the practitioner must methodically and consistently record all deal communications in the log. Contact log is an Excel workbook that combines contact information, deal milestones, and communications. The deal milestones track the investor's position in the deal funnel. The communication tracks all communications between the investor and the bank, and the investor and the client. Structure. The investor entities are listed vertically alongside the y-axis, and then the contact information, deal milestones, and communications are listed horizontally along the x-axis. Contact information. Investor entities and the names, positions, and contact information of the individuals at the investor entities. Deal milestones. Intro email sent, NDA signed, data room access, intro call scheduled, management presentation scheduled, IOI submitted, LOI submitted, and ticket size. Communications. Dates and descriptions of all communications with a functionality that pulls the date of the latest communication to the top. Contact logs continued. As you could imagine, recording all communications with every single investor would require hundreds of rows of information. Some of the investors could have 20 rows themselves. So, how should a junior banker best organize the contact log? To best organize a contact log, separate the workbook into 3 worksheets. The first worksheet, detailed contact log. This records every line of communication for all investors. This is multiple lines per investor. Summary outreach. This is a carbon copy of the detailed contact log, but pulls only the latest communications, effectively creating 1 line per investor. And then contact log output. This organizes the summary outreach into a deal funnel, highlighting those investors who are most active, those who have been silent, and those who have passed. This worksheet will be an Excel output that could be inserted into a workstream email and into a weekly update deck that is presented to the client. Folder space. Bank's folder space is a designated digital area to retain all files and documents that are associated with the deal, either documents that have been made internally or received externally. Folder space is an organization tool, and to maximize the tool's utility, practitioners should structure the space in an organized and intuitive manner. Each deal will have folder space on the bank's internal drive, and for maximum efficiency, the folder space should be standardized across all deals. A typical deal should have folders that cover engagement docs, client communications, investor communications, marketing materials, financials, deal closing information, and a virtual data room. Folder breakdown and description. Engagement folder. All documents related to the client engagement, such as engagement letter, mutual NDA, and deal compliance forms. Client communication folder. All one-off diligence items that the client provides and the associated emails. The folders within this section should be dated and titled so that the practitioner can easily retrieve an email or an email attachment provided by a client on a particular date. Investor communication folder. This is the contact log, the investor non-disclosure agreements, and all one-off diligence items or requests from investors. Marketing materials folder. This is the SIM, the teaser, and any other presentation materials intended for investors. Financial folder. This is the projection model being used for the deal, the client's original financial model, the client's historical financials, and any other supporting schedules. Presentation materials and notes folder. This contains all the presentation materials and all the notes associated with each external meeting between the bank and the client, or the bank and the investor. This section should be broken down into subfolders that are based on meeting type. Deal closing folder. This includes all the investor bids, investor term sheets, wiring instructions, bid instruction letters, purchase agreements, and any other schedules necessary for closing. And then a shadow data room. This section is meant to mirror the folder structure and the documents that will appear in the virtual data room. Note-taking. Note-taking is the practice of recording all communications during presentations, meetings, and phone calls. Note-taking is a recording tool that helps retain all verbal correspondence and next steps. To maximize the effectiveness of note-taking, junior bankers need to be thorough, summarize all key points, and highlight action items. Format. Notes should be recorded on a Word document and formatted consistently for every meeting. The notes should highlight the name of the meeting, the date, the attendees, the next steps or action items, and the entire dialogue of the meeting. So some important topics when meeting with potential investors. The banker should record the investor's mandate or thesis, the investor's questions, and if the investor passes, a detailed reason for passing that can be communicated back to the investor, or the client. Note-taking continued. Below are some further reasons to keep track of investor mandates, investor questions, and reasons for passing. So investor mandates. Noting details on investor mandates are important because 1, it gives the bankers a strong indication of whether or not the deal parameters fit within the investor's sweet spot. And 2, it helps the bankers determine which deals to show the investor in the future. Investor questions. Noting investor questions is important to better understand how the marketplace is thinking about the deal. For example, if multiple investors ask the same question, this means the marketplace is highly interested in the answer, and the answer is likely a crucial part of how the marketplace is evaluating the opportunity. Also, the banker should be retaining a master Q&A document which holds all the investor questions accompanied by the right answer. If the bankers do not know the answer to a particular question, then they need to immediately contact the client for further guidance. Investor reasons for passing. Noting reasons for passing is important because it provides the bank and the client with an initial read on the deal. It is also important for the practitioner to know so that the bank can communicate a summarized view of the marketplace back to the client. For example, 60% of passes are because of cash burn, 30% of passes are because of customer concentration, and the remaining 10% of passes are because the business is too early stage. Thank you for tuning in to this lesson. We look forward to seeing you at the next lesson, which will be covering establishing deal team communications.